Hi everyone, this is Molly and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I thought I would do a video for you about one of the themes we've been working through in 2019, and it has to do with Jupiter in Sagittarius squaring Neptune in Pisces. Now, this square has happened 3 times throughout 2019. The first time was on January 15th when they were both at 14 degrees. The second time was June 16th, the middle of June, when they were both at 18 degrees. And now we have a third and final square between Jupiter and Neptune occurring at 16 degrees. Well, actually, you could just round up here. It's 16 degrees Pisces, 59 minutes retrograde for Neptune. And then for Jupiter, it's 16 degrees of Sagittarius, 59 minutes. So again, we would call this 17 degrees. So this is the third and final time that these two planets are creating a square. A square is a 90-degree angle that has tension, challenge, shifts, requires change, requires something in these two energies to see something that needs to be changed or perhaps viewed in a higher way. And that's one of the benefits of a square, is that it requires growth. It requires growth. So in this dynamic, we have Neptune in Pisces, which is the more powerful energy because it's the slowest moving. The slowest moving energy in these aspects holds the greatest power. And so this Neptune has been feeling the energy of Jupiter in Sagittarius. And there's an interesting dynamic here for you about these energies that I want to highlight on a few levels. So Jupiter in Sag is fire. Neptune in Pisces is water. So water putting out the fire is one way to look at this. Neptune in Pisces is spiritual will, spiritual growth. Jupiter in Sag is more about the ego and the human will. So spiritual will overriding human will. Neptune in Pisces is feminine. Jupiter in Sag is masculine. So the feminine overpowering the masculine. We also have the Neptune in Pisces emotional, intuitive abilities being stronger than the Jupiter in Sag egoic energies. So this has been a powerful Neptune experience of surrender, of dissolving whatever is excessive here. Jupiter in Sag can be quite excessive with opinions, righteousness, facts, propaganda, anything that can be a little bit too big for its britches. This Neptune is removing and saying, remember the higher picture. Remember the bigger energies that exist here outside of the human ego or the human perceptions. Now, this energy, because it's been happening 3 times throughout 2019, it's been an ongoing process. And it's been happening in your chart between 14 degrees, which is where they had their first square, January 15th, until now. And this exact square is happening on September 21st, 2019. So in your chart, there have been these 2 areas of contention between what you're ready, the opportunity, the adventure, the new part of your life that you want to see expand and grow and take off, the vision, what you're ready to learn. These are all Jupiter and Sag energies, have really been dissolved by this Neptune and Pisces, and it can feel very unsatisfying. Because we talk about how Jupiter brings in abundance, expansion, growth, and it could feel like it hasn't delivered yet in these middle degrees, especially these middle degrees of Sagittarius. Now, something else I want to bring into the story is that Saturn was at the same place in your chart, 16 degrees of Sagittarius back in 2016. So it could have been that Saturn was here in 2016, requiring you to work hard, bring together some foundation, to put in the time to get clarity on where you're going. And then we see Jupiter come in, and then Jupiter typically brings in the expansion of that dream, of that vision. And so you have this energy of Jupiter saying, okay, it's time, let's go. It's very positive, very uplifting. But it's been thwarted by this Neptune and Pisces, removing your expectations, removing what you thought might transpire or happen. And it's sort of this energy of losing faith. Maybe you've lost the trust. You're like, wait a minute, I worked so hard for this back in, 2016 or so, and I was ready for something to take off. And it's just been removed. Another surrender, another pause, another delay. But again, this Neptune is a big teacher right now in asking us to not be too attached to what we think it should be or what we think it should look like, because there's a bigger energy at play here. Now, Jupiter and Sag is all about a justice energy. And it's like the big truth, what you really believe. And I feel like there's something with this Neptune asking you to keep going higher in what is possible. In fact, it's stepping out of the ego and our limited belief systems I'm hearing merge into other timelines, merge into other potentials where, you worked really hard for something. And now this Neptune is asking you to hold tight. Don't give up before the miracle. Don't lose faith, lose hope, lose trust in yourself, especially. But keep going into those emotional, intuitive energies that are supporting your spiritual growth. Remember, the dominant energies here are spiritual, feminine, emotional, intuitive. This is where we're all getting stronger. We're all getting stronger because some of this can be easier based on our cultures, our growth, what we've learned about life. This can be easier at times, but this is where we need to be really developing and getting stronger. So this third and final square happens September 21st, 2019. And you'll see how this Neptune is retrograde. So we've been taking this energy internally. Neptune is going to continue retrograde back to 15 degrees. The good news is that Jupiter is now direct and Jupiter is moving ahead. And as Jupiter passes this square with Neptune, Jupiter takes off, okay? Jupiter is no longer thwarted or having to surrender. It's sort of like you've been sitting in a waiting room at the doctor's office. When's my name calling or being called? When is it a green light? When does it go? And as soon as this Jupiter moves ahead to 17, 18 degrees, I would say by the beginning of October, there's a release here. And you're going to see what this Neptune has been doing in divine timing for you. I'm feeling like this square has represented some tangled energies. Like I want to draw out like this. Tangled energies that are being smoothed out at higher levels of consciousness and higher levels of being. And what's going to happen too is that as Jupiter moves ahead here, Jupiter's going to enter Capricorn in December 2019 of this year. And then as Jupiter moves into the middle of Capricorn, Jupiter in Capricorn is then going to sextile this Neptune and bring about the stability and all these new opportunities because of what you've trusted in this process. So it's been a really interesting time because typically this Jupiter and Sag brings about what you've been developing, learning, understanding, growing, and it hasn't happened just yet. But I think that the second half, or it's not even the second half, it's like October, November of 2019, this Jupiter is finally free. It's no longer tethered, no longer held back, no longer surrendering, no longer hanging out in the waiting room. And this energy would be especially strong for you if you have any planets or points in these middle degrees of the mutable signs between 14 and 18 degrees of Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Sorry, I stalled out there looking at my notes. So understand that this energy is going to shift for Sagittarius. And I'm sure that you're ready, especially if you've been working hard since 2016 and you've had to have big faith and big trust and allow these years to make you stronger and to see a bigger picture that you can feel or that you intuitively know is there, even if you haven't seen it come about yet. So just a little heads up on this ongoing connection between Jupiter and Neptune. The energy will shift as they pull away from each other and they're both able to continue on their respective journeys. And know that the spiritual growth that's come about will be rewarded, especially when Jupiter goes into Capricorn and makes a sextile to the same Neptune and Pisces. So I hope this gives you a little bit of insight between these two areas in your chart, as well as a connection back to perhaps 2016 in your world. And I'll be back soon with another astrology video to help you understand the energies in your life. Thank you for your comments, your shares, your likes, your subscribes. Thank you for sharing these videos on other platforms. I really appreciate it. And if you want to learn astrology with me, I do teach classes, and you can find out more about those below this video. I'll see you back here soon.